Hey YouTube, what is good? Kenny here. So after I did my 35mm steel rim video, I actually listed it online and some gentleman asked if we could do a trade for his 35mm Summilux ASPH. So I was like, sure, because the steel rim wasn't really what I was after, and it's mainly because of the minimum focus distance, and it's not really a 1.4 lens, so I decided why not just get the classic ASPH version. So I am going to do a first impressions of this lens straight from the back by looking at it, and the design wise it's very similar to the 50mm Summilux ASPH. However though, the focus ring was much smoother and the tension is at a very nice sweet spot. Design wise of this lens is very similar to the 50mm Summilux ASPH, which however doesn't have the integrated lens hood, which I like very much because I don't really like the integrated lens hood on the 50mm. The focus ring, I was surprised because it's not very stiff yet not loose as well, so it has a nice resistance from minimum focus distance to infinity. The focus throw is also quite short. When I showed my partner the lens, she said it was kind of weird. And quite honestly, I think the lens hood does make it look a bit weird. It's like a flat top, mushroom head or something. This lens is one of the hallmark of Leica lenses. So many photos of Leica cameras would either have a 35mm or 28 or 50mm attached to it. The markings on the lens are quite legible, which is quite helpful during low light conditions. One of my Voigtlander lenses was quite difficult to read during low light conditions, and which is why a clear legible text is quite welcoming. When the lens is attached to the Leica MP, which is a film camera, there was quite a bit of viewfinder blockage from the lens hood, so if I was to shoot film with it, I don't think I'll be using the lens hood, but without the lens hood, it's totally fine. If you're using it for digital, I don't think there'll be much problems because you could just use the screen. After a few test shots at home, I do realize at F1.4 there's quite a bit of vignetting, especially in the top right hand corner. So I may need to do a bit more further testing because yeah, it's actually quite dark around the corners, and I do like to shoot at f1.4, but however though, I'm not quite sure if it's me adapting the lens to the Sony body or it's just like that. After reviewing a few test shots, I felt like I am back in the modern world compared to the steel rim remake. Like at f1.4, the images are totally usable and I can actually use 1.4 during low light situations now. However, since this lens isn't new, although it's been kept in fantastic condition, I would have to say there are some flaws with this lens. and it's the aperture ring. Once you get to f1.4, it doesn't like just stop there. Like you still can turn it a little bit, and that bit is a little bit annoying. And after checking the aperture blades, there's actually a little bit of oil on the aperture blades. I have googled it and it does seem like it's a common issue with this lens, also with the 50mm Summilux ASPH lens. So one last thing that annoys me a bit is the focus ring. It's quite smooth all the way through, and if you were to use 2 fingers it feels a bit weird, so you are pretty much stuck with using the focus tab, because sometimes I feel like it's more comfortable with using 2 fingers than the focus tab. In the end, I don't regret trading this lens in with my 35mm classic lens, because this lens here fixed the issue which I've had, and it's the minimum focus distance and it's the usability at f1.4. I think those are more important to me than having a artistic lens. However though, I will plan on getting another 35mm artistic lens, as there's quite a few Chinese companies creating the remake of the steel rim and so forth at a much cheaper price, so I do look forward in trying one of those out. Since I have already used the Leica 35mm classic lens, I think I would have an idea of how it will compare to each other. Anyways, I will continue to use this lens and we'll make another update regarding to this lens. One last thing, I know you guys probably hear it all the time, but you know, please subscribe and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.